Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Yesterday, we were sitting at the dinner table, and there was all of this escalating breaking news about Israel and Iran, and I was like, oh, cool, my show's starting right now. That'll be fun. That all of this has totally changed since we taped the show, and I'm telling you guys, we tape it so close to the time that you're watching it. So I feel like I do have to say, as of the time of this taping, here is what we know. Here is the latest. Since I last left you, of course, what I'm referring to is President Trump posting on his Truth Social platform. He said it has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours. So he says there's going to be a ceasefire for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. And then he went on to warn each side to be peaceful and respectful, and that this is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. So we had this ceasefire that President Trump said that he brokered. And then all of a sudden, he's like, in 6 hours, there's going to be a ceasefire. And then all of a sudden, I don't even know. They're like, oh, 6 hours. Is that how long we have? I guess we're just going to start lobbing missiles at each other. So here's what happened. 3 o'clock a.m. Israel time, 4 hours before the scheduled ceasefire, Israel struck an Iranian radar installation near Tehran.
دانیال اومد یا اولفت اینو
So that was 3 a.m. By 6:50 a.m., minutes before the ceasefire was to go into effect, Iran was like, gotta get us some too, and they launched missiles at Israel, including one that hit Beersheba Hospital. And so here you see the aftermath of that in the hospital. It's like, guys, we're trying really hard to broker peace here. Do either of you want it? I'm kind of getting more and more unclear on that. 7:06 a.m., Iranian missiles continued to fire into Israel 6 minutes after the ceasefire went into effect. 7:08 a.m., which, by the way, for reference, is only midnight in America. In case you weren't up watching TV as we were, Trump publicly confirmed the ceasefire between Israel and Iran on Truth Social. He said the ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, in case you forgot that Donald J. Trump is president of the United States. He's here to remind you. Okay. 10:25 a.m., Iran shot 2 more missiles into Israel about 3.5 hours into the ceasefire. 12:50 p.m. Israel time. That's 5:50 a.m. Eastern time here in the United States. President Trump demanded that Israel honor the ceasefire, and he wrote on Truth Social, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. You know, sometimes people they need a reminder. Apparently, they didn't know who they were dealing with. This is the President of the United States, and he is telling you to lay down your weapons and obey the ceasefire that he just brokered for you guys. This is why we can't have nice things. 1:28 p.m. Israel time. This is 6:28 a.m. Eastern. President Trump talked to Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone, and he says that they came to an agreement that he, of course, later delivered the details on Truth Social. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Really quickly here, I want to ask you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, I want to ask you guys, you let me know in the comments. I want to literally, everywhere I go, whenever I thank someone, should I just start saying, thank you for your attention to this matter? I want to know from you. Let me know. By the way, while you're there, make sure you're subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Smash the like button and let us know. Will people understand it? Will they just think I'm weird? Do I care if they think I'm weird? I don't know. You let me know in the comments. So shortly after President Trump said, hey, I talked to Netanyahu and the ceasefire is in effect. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Israel went ahead with the plan and bombed Iran. So at that point, Trump's pretty pissed, right? He's like, guys, what am I here for? Especially Israel, because you're supposed to be our ally. We've just helped you. We've given you aid. We've given you assistance. We were supposed to be working in collaboration with one another on this because it's in both of our best interests that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. But, you can't even just talk with us, just respect what we're doing. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why we're going to continue to send aid and assistance if you guys want to escalate things that you claim that you will not escalate. But President Trump was rightfully pissed, and he dropped an F-bomb talking to the press as he was boarding Marine One. Watch.
I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
I don't know who can disagree with him, honestly. So by 8:15 Eastern time here, Trump boarded Air Force One heading to, was that Marine One or Air Force One? Heading to NATO, and was like, all right, he, of course, again, posting on his platform, Truth Social, he said, heading to NATO, where at worst it will be a much calmer period than what I just went through with Israel and Iran. I look forward to seeing all of my very good European friends and others. Hopefully much will be accomplished. So you have President Trump as he's on Air Force One. He's talking to the press, and he's, of course, I think people are concerned. Hey, Joe Biden just let in all of these people, millions upon millions of people just walked through a very open border without being vetted. Should we be concerned about, potential domestic danger from terrorist sleeper cells? Here's what President Trump said.
Already in sleeper cells in the United States.
Biden let a lot of super cells, and Biden was an incompetent president and had no idea what he was doing. He hardly ever signed a document. Other people signed documents for him with the auto pen. It was gross incompetence. And among everything else, he let a lot of super cells in, many from Iran. But hopefully we'll take care of them. What Biden did to this country should never be forgotten.
Amen. I mean, I don't know why these people have not been brought up to Congress for hearings. And I get it. These hearings are like, oh, what are you going to do next? Send a sternly worded letter to the manager? But it would at least be something, because this is treasonous. This is treasonous behavior. You think that I'm using hyperbole. You think that President Trump is using hyperbole. Well, let me just tell you what happened today. ICE has detained an Iranian sniper because under Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, who both committed treason, my opinion, let me know yours in the comments. They both committed treason. They allowed Ribvar Karmi. This is an Islamic Republic of Iran Army card-carrying sniper who was here on a K-1 marriage visa. He served very recently in Iran's army, 2018 to 2021. And he was allowed into the United States just a few short years later, October 2024. ICE just took him into custody on Sunday in Alabama. By the way, he's just one of like 11 other Iranian nationals living in America who ICE is now having to go out and grab. I mean, amidst all of this chaos, look at all these people. You've got one of them, Youssef Meridino, lived here illegally for 8 years. He was added to the terror watch list in February. You've got Mehran Makari Sahel, former member of the IRGC, and he himself has admitted connections to Hezbollah. Oh, what's a little terror group? I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Let him into our country. Just roll the dice, see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? And so you have this list of these criminals, these Hezbollah-connected men. You'll notice, there's not many. There's one woman there. This is an American woman who was arrested for threatening to shoot ICE agents in Arizona over all of this. Other than that, there's no women and children. That's so weird. It's just males. Isn't that interesting how that happens? And so you've got these people who Merzad Asadi Idovic. I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I don't care to. He's been ordered to leave the United States 12 years ago by an immigration judge. So you've got these people who should not have been here in the first place, in some cases added to the terror watch list, very bad people. And they were here. So thank God that ICE and DHS is getting these people out of here. But I'm telling you guys, this is a powder keg. It is only a matter of time until something happens, and the left will do their damnedest to make sure that President Trump is blamed for it. And all President Trump is doing is trying to get these people the hell out of our country while he's trying to clear up all of their other messes. By the way, we did just get new deportation numbers. Finally, Stephen. Thank you. 236,000, upwards of 236,000 deportations. Many more to go. Yes, many more to go. But what I'm trying to find out, our good friend Dan Holloway over from Drinkin' Bros, you guys make sure to check them out and subscribe to them if you're not already. Our friend Dan Holloway, I saw him say on social media, he's got a lot of inside sources, and he is former military. And they said that there have been like 1 million that have self-deported already. So I'd like to get confirmation on that. And, we should be able to add those to the deportation. Self-deportation is still deportation. So 236,000 is the official number. Sounds like it is much more, but there is more work to be done because they all have to go back. I want to bring in the panel and get their reaction to all of this. But first, I want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor is there for those of you who you live in constant pain. You think that this is just your life. And honestly, it kind of sucks. You're probably, less nice to your spouse or your children. You get like all pissy because you're moody, because you hurt, and who can blame you, right? It's this constant nagging feeling that you just deal with all the time, and you think that there's no way out. There actually is, okay? It's the 3-week quick start from Relief Factor. I'm going to ask you to try that if you're in pain. It's $19.95. It's less than $1 a day, and it's an all-natural anti-inflammatory that gets to the root cause of your pain. So it's not just masking it. It's going to totally eliminate it for you, and if it can do that, wouldn't that be life-changing? Here's the deal. I'm telling you to go get that 3-week quick start because they've got a guarantee. So you have nothing to lose except your pain. Your money back if it doesn't work, or you're out of pain. It's a win-win for you. Okay, go get that 3-week quick start over at relieffactor.com. That is relieffactor.com. Welcome to the show. Oh my gosh. His first time ever, Derek Richards. Of course,
I know, right?
Comedian and frequent guest host of Normal World.
Always a good time over there. And good to see you. I remember seeing you in the hallway here.
Yeah.
We've been talking for 2 years since I've been coming in here. And I remember saying to you in the hallway, I said, listen, your show is way too smart. I go, you need to dumb it down. I'm your guy.
He says, I know just the person.
I know just the person that can drag down the IQ level of the show. So thank you for finally having me on.
Glad you're here.
Thank you for
Very glad you're here. And we've got Matt Marsden along for the ride, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire. Although I will just say, Derek had a graphic that he promoted that he was going to be on my show in Normal World. And he just wrote Sara Gonzales Show.
I did not. The social media guy he didn't put Sara Gonzales Unfiltered.
Oh, your social media guy it up? He's fired.
Okay.
He's fired.
Ross, you're not, but next time put Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. You can clearly see how...
I'm going to give him shit for that.
You can clearly see how irked she is right now.
Anyway.
Anyway.
No, it was funny. I was like, I'm totally going to give him crap for that on air. So we have all of this. I just went over the whole timeline of what's going on with Israel and Iran. And I'm sure once we get this episode in the can, something's going to change before 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So who knows if what we're saying right now is even relevant. But what I do know, after all of the things that have happened with Iran and Israel exchanging, what's a little bombs, just exchanging bombs every once in a while just to keep the peace somehow. I don't know, make that make sense. You had some in the Democrat Party calling for Trump's impeachment, including yesterday we discussed AOC. Now, Matt, have you seen photos of AOC recently?
I did.
Okay. Those of you who haven't seen them, you can go to my Twitter and check it out. She looks a little larger than she used to.
Dropping off. I'm just saying.
She looks a little larger.
Complacent.
Yeah. So I just didn't know if you need to amend your statement about her hotness.
It's getting there. I mean, listen, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. She can just hit the Peloton a little bit and it'll be all right.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm Hispanic women. The odds are not in the favor of her doing that. It probably is going to keep going. Yeah.
I think if she exercises and starts reading the Constitution, she'll drop some weight. So I just find her. I have friends of mine that find her very attractive. I just think I
don't get it.
I think she's far too stupid to be attractive.
That's my thing.
To me,
too.
stupidity supersedes attractiveness.
That's my thing.
You look at her and you go, "Oh, that's adorable. I'd like to have it in the corner of my house, maybe holding a lampshade." But then it talks, and you go, "Eh."
Well, you don't need it to
Leave.
talk. You don't. Shh.
Really? How have you mastered that one? Married guy with a bunch of kids.
I'm not saying I'm
please.
do it for me. I'm not saying
I want to hear this, and I'm sure all the viewership wants to hear this.
No, I'm just.
She doesn't need to talk. Okay.
Do you just tell her not to talk?
Listen, there's a bunch of dudes right now are going, he said the thing out loud, didn't he? He said it. No, listen, no, I'm just saying for her. My wife can talk as much as she wants.
Nice cover.
She's perfect and she can do nothing wrong. She is always right. Got your back.
You think AOC is ever going to not talk?
No. So she, you had President Trump's Truth Social page just blowing up with this criticism of AOC, and rightfully so, for calling for his impeachment and the squad. And there was a video that Trump posted of Jasmine Crockett criticizing his moves in Iran. Here's some of that.
And to understand enough about the Constitution to the extent that I'm the one that's supposed to make the decision or at least get a vote.
This is Dallas, the Dallas area, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to read and get y'all's reaction to what he said about it started out about AOC, and then he did the weave. And he mentions Crockett, he mentions Ilhan Omar, because he had to include the full squad.
Sure.
And the landing is just chef's kiss. He said, stupid AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the dumbest people in Congress, is now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact that the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done that twice before. The reason for her rantings is all of the victories that the USA has had under the Trump administration. The Democrats aren't used to winning, and she can't stand the concept of our country being successful again. When we examine her test scores, we will find out that she is not qualified for office, but nevertheless far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual, or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country, yet the failed country that she comes from doesn't have a government, is drenched in crime and poverty, and is rated one of the worst in the world, if it's even rated at all. How dare the mouse... How dare the mouse tell us how to run the United States of America? We're just now coming back from that radical left experiment. It's still going with Sleepy Joe, Kamala, and the auto pen in charge. What a disaster that was. AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I just completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of my physical. As the doctor in charge said, President Trump aced it, meaning I got every answer right. Instead of her constant complaining, Alexandria should go back home to Queens, where I was also brought up, and straighten out her filthy, disgusting, crime-ridden streets in the district she represents and which she never goes to anymore. I'm going to continue. She better start worrying about her own primary before she thinks about beating our great Palestinian senator, Ryan Chuck Schumer, whose career is definitely on thin ice. She and her Democrat friends have just hit the lowest poll numbers in congressional history. So go ahead and try impeaching me again. Make my day.
I think the one thing we learned from Truth Social is there's no character limit.
That is perfection, though, isn't it? That is amazing.
He slammed everyone. Every time I see Jasmine Crockett talk, she just literally looks like every pissed off customer at Dollar General trying to return the can of green beans that expired 7 years ago.
And she found them at the back.
Yes.
She was like, I'm going through them. I've got to take that back. Yes. I can return it. Mm-hmm. She is a disgrace. By the way, again, in all seriousness, this is a congresswoman from Texas. Get your head around that. Like, this is appalling. That woman needs to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Who's running against her? Do you know? Is anyone?
There's a man by the name of Sheldon Daniels who is running against her as a Republican. So I don't know what chance a Republican has in that district.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. But remember her videos. I don't know if you've seen these, Derek. Her videos when she was running originally before she went to Congress and like turned into a hood rat all of a sudden. She's very well spoken. She, like she's not making a mockery of the position. And so you have to wonder how many people who voted her in based off of the representation that she was portraying previously are very embarrassed by the representation that she's portraying now.
Well,
I don't know.
Part of the issue with the Democrats is that they just think that any publicity is good publicity. I mean, you're seeing it with Gavin Newsom. I mean, that guy is a mitigated disaster. I mean, everything he's done. I mean, now they're shutting down 2 of the Californian refineries, and California's sitting on, I think it's like 4.2 billion barrels of oil, and he's shutting them down. Like, there's going to come a point where people are going to go, hang on a minute, why am I paying $7 a gallon at the pump? Like, this is insane. And it's the same thing for her. Like, she thinks that because she's been promoted on all these channels, it's a good thing, but she's been promoted because she's dumb as a bag of hammers, right? She's so stupid. And that's not a good thing. And I'd like to think that people in Dallas have a little bit more about them, that they're going to say, hey, listen, she's got to go. She's an embarrassment. She's that. I mean, there's nothing more to say. She's an embarrassment. But again, did you see any of her stuff before when she was running?
I didn't see anything before because now all of her clips and all the sound bites are literally like, I don't watch The View ever, but every time you see clips of The View, it's somebody on The View sounding more dumb than the last time they were on, being showcased on, on these shows, on any other networks, and just the ludicrous behavior that comes out of that panel. So yeah, to me, Jasmine Crockett is just the heir apparent to Whoopi Goldberg on The View.
It does make you think, are they auditioning?
Right?
Are they auditioning for the next gig?
You would think.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them stay in there forever, but the people who are like that, just the audacity of this woman to go out and behave in the manner that she's behaving, you would think that she's working her way for something else.
Is she going to go to the CNN when she gets booted out? Well, I wonder what the over and under is on that. Like, I wonder if she's going to...
I mean, the thing is like, but you would think that even the higher ups at CNN would find her to be embarrassing.
MSNBC.
Maybe that. Maybe that. And
That's like the single A farm team. That's like, you don't get downgraded.
Yeah.
You don't go from the Rangers to AAA to AA. You're going into like the developmental league.
Right. The remedial league.
Yes.
So you have this, before we go to break here, I do want to just briefly mention, Matt, you mentioned it before we came to air. I didn't see this until now, but I have it pulled up here. 128 Democrats join House GOP to block progressives' bid to impeach Trump. So, Stephen, I've got it on my screen here. It said that it was also all 3 members of House Democratic leadership, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Whip Catherine Clark, and House Democratic Caucus Chairman Pete Aguilar, who voted with Republicans to table the measure that Al Green introduced to impeach President Trump. 128 Democrats. That's crazy. That never would have happened his last term.
I think that they're realizing now that they are so unpopular, and this is such a terrible idea.
Well, and that what they did before didn't work. That was unpopular.
Yeah, they're just going to keep losing.
Yeah, they've got to change the game. I mean, for the longest time, even when when Trump first launched the attack on Iran and he dropped the bombs, I mean, Trump could drop Easter peeps on Iran and they would say he's trying to give the country diabetes. Yeah. Right? So now they're like, oh, well, that little thing worked.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't sound stupid.
Yeah. I read a headline. I didn't actually watch it. Maybe you guys saw it. I read a headline on Daily Mail that said CNN's Erin Burnett. It said CNN host, it's like something like just her face gets so upset when she's told live on air that President Trump negotiated a ceasefire. Like you could see her face drop. I think that was the term. CNN host's face drops when told about the ceasefire negotiation on air.
It's like they're so disappointed that people aren't going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where it is. But I'm just going to say this. We were on the show yesterday, and we said that they would come to the negotiating table. Yes, we did. I'm just saying. The Blaze. Sara Gonzales Unfiltered.
That's not the Blaze. That's me.
Yeah, it's you.
That's me. Everyone has their own opinions. Mine just happens to always be right. Just ask Steven.
Whatever she says.
Good answer.
So, all right, let's go ahead and take another quick break. We're going to be back with more, but I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, Preborn. So, Preborn, guys, those who donated during the month of May for the big campaign that we were doing because it was Mother's Day month, I just want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We were going for 600 ultrasounds. We ended up with over 1,300.
Nice.
Isn't that
Finally,
amazing?
we got the numbers. That's great.
Finally we got the numbers. It just took a while, but it's okay because we more than doubled our goal, blew it out of the water. And I want you guys to be so proud of yourselves because that is how many babies' lives you guys are saving. Because with Preborn and their network of clinics, when a mother goes into a Preborn clinic, instead of being told like they're going into Planned Parenthood, they're being told it's just a clump of cells, don't worry, you're never going to regret it. They're actually shown the truth on ultrasound and they're listening to the heartbeat. And the mom is like, I mean, you guys who have kids, you know, in that moment, it just immediately changes you. And they're like, I'm keeping this baby. And Preborn is right there by their side the entire way, including up to 2 years after the baby is born, helping them financially and with all of their needs. So $28 is the cost of an ultrasound. I am so thankful to you guys. I mean, truly thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping during the month of May. Those of you who may not have had a chance to do so, please consider sponsoring an ultrasound. It's the difference between life and death of a baby over at these Preborn clinics. Okay, $28 is the cost of one ultrasound. How many babies can you help us save? You can donate now at preborn.com/Sarah. That is preborn.com/Sarah. So I talked briefly about the deportation numbers, which you guys, I unveiled in the first segment. We've got new numbers. It's 236,000 deportations so far, many more to go because you all have to go back. And
It's like watching the Jerry Lewis telethon. Right?
Yeah. We're hoping for way higher numbers though, guys. But
It'd be great if it's like, and now we're going live over to California, and they're like putting him in a trebuchet.
we got one more.
Bye, Jose. Bye, bro.
Derek, I said that I really want a what is it? What is the word that I'm thinking of? Thank you, Stephen. Catapult. I want to
trebuchet is better.
Is that what is that?
A trebuchet is one that goes.
Oh, so it like
catapult's just like but
it could harm them more?
You get a lot more distance on a trebuchet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in. So yeah, you put it on.
You can have both.
Why not both? You're right.
Why
I'm not going to be picky. You can choose. So tell me you wouldn't pay for this. As an American citizen who is concerned about the deportations and getting these illegal criminals out of our country, you've got a trebuchet and a catapult. And you can pay money to press the button that launches an illegal criminal across the border.
I pay $5 throwing a softball at a clown at a county fair to get him in the dunk tank. You tell me I wouldn't go ahead and just...
Of course you would, right?
Just fire cash at is it trebuchet?
Trebuchet.
That's what I was like, I don't know how to say that.
Okay. Catapult.
Is this a British thing?
And...
It's French.
And a wood chipper.
Yeah.
We need that one next to it too.
Yeah.
For like the really, really bad.
Do you know like Top Golf?
Yes.
You could have there's a wood chipper there, there's a wall there.
Yeah.
So you just splat.
It depends what you hit. And you can wager on it, like on an app on your phone.
Sure.
To see where.
And the money that is raised goes
to Preborn.
Well, I was going to say funding
to help fund more ultrasounds.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, honestly. Or just funding the deportations.
New co-host. Okay, numbers going up. Keep going. Okay.
So they've got this, DHS is taking funds in large part, by the way, from FEMA's shelter and service program to build a facility for these illegals in Florida's Everglades. And I want to play Florida Attorney General explaining what exactly it is. Watch.
I call it Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, I love it.
It's so
This
fun.
30 square mile area is completely surrounded by the Everglades. Presents a efficient,
America.
low-cost opportunity
So
to build a
good.
temporary detention facility because you don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Within just 30 to 60 days after we begin construction, it could be up and running and could house as many as 1,000 criminal aliens. This
So
presents
cool.
a great opportunity for the state of Florida to work with Miami-Dade and Collier counties. Alligator Alcatraz, we're ready to go.
Everglades, Florida, baby. I love it.
The graphic alone is cool.
Isn't it so awesome?
You could just sell merch with the Alligator Alcatraz. Sure.
You know,
I would buy that.
I see a reality show. I see a reality show in our future.
Yeah.
Who tries to leave the island?
You go try it.
Right.
If you can get past the 15-foot alligator, you can go. That's okay. You can make it back to Mexico.
Once you get past the 15-foot alligator, you got to get past a bunch of Florida rednecks. I've spent time in
Good
Central
luck to you.
Florida, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's I'd
luck with
I'd
that,
play
right?
with the alligator before I'd play with the.
I mean, I remember when there was a report in President Trump's first term. You know, he had all these leaks and they were all designed to make him look incompetent or incapable of serving as president. And one of them was that he had asked, can we just like build a moat? Or like, can we, what, Stephen, was it Mexico?
Yeah, I think he said he wanted a moat with crocodiles in it.
Yeah.
One of the
And I
things.
was like, that's actually cool. I don't know. They were making fun of him. And I was like, tell me that's not outside the box. I think it's cool. Now it's kind of
Florida,
happening.
You got water, you got crocodiles, alligators, whatever. I say just tell the prisoners it's Disney and this is a new ride.
Like the Jungle Cruise.
Yes. Can we go in the water? Yes, you can.
And they don't speak English, so they won't even know. They'll just halfway understand you and be like, oh, Mickey Mouse? Oh, okay.
Just make sure it's not an innocent Maryland father.
Yep, that's a good point.
And you know what, Sarah? I want to make a kind of serious but not serious point about this, especially
Especially
with our
on.
esteemed
Serious.
guest here, because he will know this better than anybody. We had lost our sense of humor over the past 4 years, right? I don't mean us. I'm talking about the country was so depressed and so like wokeness kills comedy.
Yes.
Right? It absolutely kills it. You can't make fun of anyone. You can't say retard or anything like that, right?
Gay and retarded.
Gay and retarded.
My
You
two
can't say
favorite
gay and
words.
retarded. And now it's back. And now it's back. It's gay and it's retarded. But now, like, I watched that and I'm like, we've regained our sense of humor because people are like, I am done with your bullshit. And you know what? I think, honestly, that this is a ramp up. If we want it, if we keep our foot on the accelerator, is that we're going to have an 80s style revival again, because it was the same thing under the Carter administration where everyone was depressed, everyone was miserable. You know, they were like, where's America going? Reagan comes in, turns it all around. We have this massive explosion of culture, right? Great movies come out, great music. I don't know if we're going to be able to rectify that. But then we had a spate of like great comics coming out throughout that period of time. Right, we could laugh at ourselves, and something like this that we just watched is exactly that. I mean, it's true, right? They're going to do it, but it's also like it's funny. We're allowed to laugh at the fact that we're going to put a bunch of criminals in the middle of a swamp, and good luck.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious, to be honest.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think just the sense of humor of just people in general, even in the comedy shows that I've done over the course of the past 6 months. And even I do a lot of shows with Dave Landau quite often too. And, seeing his crowd come out to the shows where they just generally are like, bring it, say whatever you want to say. And then even now, even the shows that I do where I'm not working with Dave, just people seem to have just a much less of an attitude.
Yeah.
When you say things that are a little more that would have been considered would have gotten you not necessarily canceled,
Right.
but just where somebody in a comedy club would stand up and yell and just, act the fool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't see that.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that as much.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Comedy's back, baby. I love when someone tries to tell me that they're going to report me to my employer. I'm like, oh, I wish you would.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm uncancelable, baby.
I
If
would.
I was, they would have done it a long time ago. So on this Alligator Alcatraz, I'm sure that the left will come back and say, but it's expensive. It's like $450 million a year they're saying to maintain. However, if you contrast that to, say, the Roosevelt Hotel over in New York City, that they were housing all of these illegals, you had the Biden administration teaming up with the Pakistani government, which is a little strange. Yeah, a little strange.
That's a good pairing.
A little strange there. They housed an estimated 232,000 illegals over 2 years. That just cost New York City taxpayers about $575,000 a night. A night.
Mm-hmm.
A night. So, and by the way, these were human traffickers, child abusers,
crime
gang
numbers
members.
going up.
Yeah.
Insurance going up because
Lincoln Riley's killer there.
Yep.
So,
Well, and crime being committed in the hotels. I mean, the way they were talking about people being, raped in the stairwells,
Yep.
and just the, rampant drug use and so forth.
cops
So
not being able to go in. Do you
Exactly.
see some of that video?
yeah, they can't
with the
do
people
anything.
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I'm just saying good news abounds because I saw this on Polymarket today. They tweeted out that the United States is on track to lose, this is how they phrase it, lose more immigrants than it gains for the first time in 50 years.
Can I just say, that actually pisses me off, though, because they always say immigrants. They don't say illegals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is by design. It
Of course.
really, really frustrates me. By the way, if they complain about the $450 million it's going to cost, we sent them to El Salvador, and you didn't want that, did
Yep.
you? So take your pick, El Salvador or Alligator Heaven. I'm
Yep.
going to start calling it. Yeah.
Alligator Heaven.
Alligator Heaven.
And that is a vast stretch of nothing down there in Florida.
Yeah.
The Everglades.
Have you been there?
There is. Oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't been
I've gone
there.
through the Everglades and on Alligator Alley that stretches from Naples.
And you
to,
ride the boat and see all the alligators?
You can do the airboats down there, but even there's the highway I-75,
see 'em all.
which cuts right across there.
You see the alligators. There's some ponds there, right? Like,
No.
Yeah, there's fences, and you can see where the alligator. Well, what happened was they had to expand the roadway because years and years ago it was just literally like a 2-lane highway.
Oh, wow.
And there was no fencing or anything. So alligators would come across, and you're going 65, 70 miles an hour, and the alligators are undefeated with you in a Camry and the alligator. Alligator wins every single time. So they finally put up high fences, but you can look through the fences as you're driving. You see the alligators and stuff like that out there. Well, then people, again, they talk about pythons because people get pythons for pets. They're not indigenous to the Florida Everglades at all.
And they let them go.
So, because they can't handle it because pythons grow.
Because they're pythons!
No one went on Google and said, hey,
Right. What does this grow into?
Yeah,
oh,
and they
a
go,
giant
wow,
snake.
it ate my kid. I should probably take it maybe to the pet store. No, let me screw up an ecosystem.
Yup.
And dump it out there. So, which has been a huge problem.
Yeah, well, not a problem anymore. We're turning that problem into a solution.
Exactly. They stop eating flamingos, they stop eating deer, and they start eating illegals.
Easy.
I have
Easy peasy. That's how the food chain works, ladies and gentlemen.
to have a controlled release every so often. Right. You got to open up a dam to let some water go. Like, all right, you guys, 20 of you can go.
Listen.
Let them out.
Listen.
Running Man.
Gavin Newsom depleted your previous state of California of all of its water because of smelt fish.
Delta smelt, yeah.
So they really care about all of these animals and reptiles and the environment. And we're just saying we just want to make sure that the pythons can be fed because that would be really sad if they were.
I just really hope that the gators like Mexican food.
Because they're going to be tasting it.
Exactly.
At a certain point in that
How bad would it
struggle.
be if alligators just got gassy and we started blaming, Trump for all this? They chowed on a bunch of illegal Mexicans. Well, gators are now having intestinal issues.
Too many
Turns out
refried
Peter,
beans.
Too much-
Peter comes
Too
out.
much Mexican food. Here we go. Close down Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. Which, well, by the way, on that note, we're building this Alligator Alcatraz, and, you know, we've got the left fighting us tooth and nail to deport people, but Supreme Court is now going to allow deportations to non-origin countries. We just covered this story a couple days ago. I think there was he was just a murderer, also a rapist, also a gang member who was arrested by ICE and HSI Los Angeles, but he couldn't be sent back to El Salvador because of this. He kept saying, I have a cat order. I have a cat order. We're like, what the are you talking about? It was a decat order from Joe Biden in like the 11th hour. And ICE was trying to deport him to a third party country, but they were waiting on the Supreme Court to rule on whether or not they could do that. Well, SCOTUS came through and they ruled that Trump can deport illegals to countries that were not their home country, were not their country of origin. It was a 6-3 ruling. And you guessed who dissented. It was, of course, the 3 liberal women. Ugh, who wants to deal with that? And so you finally have the Supreme Court ruling on this. It's absolutely crazy to me that it's like, personally, I don't care where they go as long as they get the hell out of my country. But also, their country of origin won't take them. And the argument is like, well, we'll just keep them. It's fine. They're so bad that their home country doesn't want them. It'll be fine. Like, of course we need to take them somewhere else. And so.
So then hang on. So their country of origin won't take them because they're so dangerous, even though, by the way, they're going to go to prison. So then the burden is on us.
Yeah, that's why
to
it's like
spend our money to keep them here. Again, bring on the trebuchet. Boom.
Well, I mean, it's crazy because Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote a dissent, and she said, in matters of life and death, it is best to proceed with caution. In this case, the government took the opposite approach. I cannot join so gross an abuse of the court's equitable discretion. Like, in matters of life and death, yeah, I would say that it's a matter of life and death for American citizens. Maybe you should consider that, Ketanji. But she doesn't even know what a woman is, so how would she even?
I'm blown away by that anybody would even make any comment about this at all. It's like,
nonetheless,
get him out of
Supreme
here.
Court justice.
Yeah.
But
It's supposed to be like the top of the top of the top, and we're just letting anyone do that.
I mean, she was always a moron.
Yeah.
I hate to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was abysmal in confirmation hearings. But look, I mean, we're in a situation right now where they're destroying their own narrative because for years and years and years they were like, it's just. I said it yesterday. Oh, it's about the grandma. It's just about don't get rid of grandma. Don't get rid of this, Maryland
Don't
father.
get rid of grandma. She's feeding AOC tortas.
That woman can go tomorrow. She needs to get out. I'm just saying. No, but now, like we can completely see through it.
Right.
They are literally asking for murderers and rapists to come back into the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's it. Now you see the plan. This is what they want. They want to, and again, people say this is a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. They want to destabilize the country from the inside, and they'll do that by bringing violent felons in and gang members. This is what it is. And there are thousands of them, and there are thousands of terrorist cells. Well, it's thousands of people in terrorist cells across the country.
So speaking of trying to destabilize America from the inside, let's go ahead. I want to take a quick break, and then I want to get into this New York City mayoral race. You say that 3 times fast. We'll be right back. New York City has an election for its mayor, and they've got Andrew Cuomo, but they've also got Zoran Mamdani, who is a Democratic socialist, he claims. And regardless of how you feel about Israel and Netanyahu, kind of a hot take from Mamdani about Netanyahu. Watch.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the US is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
We would arrest Netanyahu. He has also said in the past that he wants to globalize the Intifada, which is, of course, Arabic for uprising. And the first Intifada was the protest against the Israeli military in the West Bank and Gaza. The second was escalated to armed attacks and suicide bombings against the Israeli army. So, I don't know, sounds a little bit like a worldwide terrorism call against Jews and Jewish sympathizers. But, by the way, he's only been a citizen since 2018, and he wants to fund gender change procedures for minors, 65 million tax dollars on gender-affirming care. He wants to create government-run grocery stores. This is a little communisty to me. Would also cost taxpayers $60 million. He wants to gut NYPD. He called it a feminist issue. He will not commit to hiring more officers, even as, like not super safe there these days. Well, it is now that President Trump is back in charge, but you get the point. He also says he wants to eat the rich. He wants to fund all of those retarded ideas, plus free buses, free childcare, and all. He's going to spike corporate taxes from 7.25 to 11.5. I mean, this is all going to be 2% flat tax on the wealthy. Like, this is crazy communist stuff, and he actually has a chance of winning tonight.
He's leading.
Yeah.
He's leading Cuomo. Zoran,
if the polls are correct, he will win.
Yeah, Zoran Mamdani just sounds like a new cholesterol medication that you get from your cardiologist.
Hey, try the new statin, Zoran Mamdani.
You literally have Andrew Cuomo. These are the two Democratic candidates. The only Republican candidate is Curtis Sliwa, how am I pronouncing his name? He was the guy from the Guardian Angels.
You know what's sad? I've not even heard of him because he has no chance of winning.
He's like the only, that's whatever. He is the Colorado Rockies of the mayoral race in New York. So you got Andrew Cuomo, who was ousted from his office for sexually harassing 11 women over 7 years. Mm-hmm. He had killed people in nursing homes during COVID.
Yep.
And now you've got this guy who looks like he should be selling knockoff Drakkar at a bodega in the Bronx, right? So it's like, do you want syphilis or chlamydia? Who do you want? What do you want? What STD do you want running your city?
What does it say about New York that these are the best you guys have? These are your cream of the crop.
I'm sorry, guys. Let it happen to them. Let it happen to them. Because, look, I've seen, if you guys watch what's gone on in the UK, this is the way they start taking over areas is through the mayoral candidates.
Of course.
This is what they do.
They've got a bunch of Muslim mayors.
And it's a major problem. It's a major, major problem. But look, I mean, he is so, if you actually sat there and went through the things that he is talking about doing, is for LGBT stuff, but it's for the global intifada.
Right.
Hang on a minute, like those two don't work. So anyway, look, I'm sorry, New York. You got it coming to you. And then, I mean, by the way, arresting Benjamin Netanyahu is an act of international war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking?
Crazy. So we'll see.
You know what New York needs right now? Snake Plissken from Escape from New York.
I thought you were just thinking like snakes.
No,
like the pythons?
Yeah, Russell.
Yeah.
Snake Plissken, eye patch, the whole shot.
I love it.
Running New York City.
Save New York. Derek, tell everyone where they can find you.
DerekRichards.com is my website. Also find me on Normal World quite often with Dave Landau. And yeah.
Make sure to go to DerekRichards.com. Check and see where he's going to be. If he's at a city near you, go there. This man's funny. Even though he got my show name wrong. It's okay. I forgive you.
Have me back.